here's my take. I think movie theaters are already kind of risky. Um, Especially, I mean, even before COVID, with the rise of like Netflix and all these on-demand streaming services.
Yeah.
Um, Movie theaters really, really have to sell their pitch to be in an experience, because why would I want to drive down to a movie theater and watch something when I could watch it in the comfort of my home and invite, all my friends over and kind of like have that at home experience. Now, if movie theaters are starting to get like comfortable chairs now, and like they'll serve you food at your actual spot. So they're starting to get interesting. But I think as a whole, dude, I probably wouldn't even touch it.
You want to
I
touch
mean,
them?
unless you want money on the rebound, like when they open back up, they'll probably start trading back at around $8. Right now they're trading at $4. So if you want to like double your money and make on that quick rebound, but I mean, if AMC goes under, then it's like your $4 are going to zero. So that's kind of the bet you're making.
Yeah, that's kind of what my other question was going to be is like, do you think like these are so-called great companies, right? And it just doesn't
Yeah, yeah,
seem like that because, like you said, Netflix and the rise of technology,
yeah.
they don't really, you know, they're a dying business for sure. They're definitely, I mean, do you think movie theaters will always be around? I don't know. Or do you think it's going to be like blockbusters or whatever where that died
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, well, I definitely think it's like an outing, right? Like, you got nothing to do with your family, you're bored at home. Maybe you're going on a date somewhere. It's like a good idea for like an experience.
Mhm.
But I think outside of that, I don't know, dude. Would I want to open a movie theater? Like, I mean, ask yourself this, right? When you buy a stock per se, and more so with like movie theaters, you're sort of owning a piece of the business, right? Or you are owning a piece of the business. Would you want to open it like 100% ownership of a movie theater right now? Like, would you open a movie theater right now?
No.
Yeah, but I mean, what if they were telling you, like, look, you open up a movie theater, everything is like 75% off. Let's say it costs $100,000 to open up a movie theater, but now it's only costing you 25,000. You know what I mean? So is there a certain price to where you'd open up a movie theater if the price was right? You know what I mean? Because I mean, if it's selling for, dude, if I could open up a movie theater for $5,000 and it usually cost me 100,000,
I'm opening a movie theater.
I'm opening a movie theater. You know what I mean? That's cheap.
Yeah, so I think that if I was to invest in the movie theater, which I'm probably going to invest in something soon,
Hmm.
um, I think if I did that, it wouldn't be to keep it for the long term. It's definitely to sell it in a year or two when it goes up,
Yeah.
But let's be honest here. If it's $4 and it goes back to 8, let's just say it goes up to 8, or maybe even just $1 more, right? And you buy a lot of those, you're gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah, no, for
I
sure.
mean, $4 adds up if it adds up really quick. So that's a way to look at it too.
Yeah. So, I mean, unless you're going for like a quick rebound thing and and you're confident that they're not going to go bankrupt, that's the other thing too. If they go bankrupt, I mean, you're going to zero pretty much, right? Um, so, I mean, that's basically the bet you're making. If you buy AMC stock right now, you're saying this company is not going to go bankrupt. I don't know if it's going to go ballistic up or, uh, but you might make some money off of it. I mean, worst case, I mean, it's really, really cheap right now. I mean, relative to the amount of assets they're holding, I'm sure it's pretty cheap. But yeah, it's a risky bet. The question is though, is there other places where your money could perform better? Airlines, maybe. What other industry is being affected? Cruise ships is another big one people are looking into. Um,
What about
so
sporting stuff? Because sports are going to go back one day, right?
yeah, yeah.
I wonder what sporting arenas and stuff like that. Like my friend works at a really big company that does all that, but I don't know if they're public or not. But I wonder if there's some companies that are public that like that owns like the arenas or
Oh
provides
yeah,
the
yeah,
food at the snack bars and stuff like that. Stuff is going to be useful. Uh,
yeah. I think Live Nation is one of them. But There was a really startling statistic actually I heard on a podcast about movie theaters. I forget. I'm gonna get the numbers a little bit mixed up here, but I think last quarter this year, movie theaters in general, all combined throughout the United States, I think brought in something like 100 million or like 200 million, something like that, uh, in the United States. But guess how much they brought in this past quarter? All the movie theaters combined in the United States.
Less than that.
Dude, it's scary. I think they brought in all of them combined $100,000. You're talking about a whole industry that went from 100 million to basically zero, like literally in the matter of a few months, right? So, I mean, it's just scary to see how businesses that make all this money just basically get wiped out almost overnight. It's pretty staggering to see the numbers. You know what I mean? So, that's another thing to consider.